Okay, I mean, first of all, rate the work from home fit. Don't know how well you can actually see me, but we've got the slippers, the shorts, and then from the waist up, we are business as usual. We love it. But anyway, today we are going through what it is we actually do. Like, what does habits do? Because in every video so far, you will have seen me do habits related stuff. We help people connect with financial advisors based on their situation, their preferences, and what's going to make sense for their goals over the next 5, 10, 50 years. And so in this video, we're going through a call that I just had with a prospect where they came through the platform. We got them through the application and connected with 3 different financial advisors that they're going to go and meet and see if it makes sense for them to move forward with any of those advisors. If you're new here, please do drop the video a like and don't forget to subscribe because new videos out every Saturday now. Time has changed for you guys that have been following for a while. Used to be Tuesdays, now Saturdays. But yeah, new videos every week. So subscribe, make sure you are following along for the journey. Right, let's go. Consumer call. And we're now going to dive into seeing how we can help someone, which is what it's all about. It's probably relatively early in your day, right? You're Florida based.
Yeah, just rolled out of bed actually, so.
Well, I'd love to hear actually, in fact, just what made you book this call. Like, I'm assuming you may have seen something on social media about what we do and thought it may make sense to reach out.
Yeah, I've been following for probably the last 7-8 months or so now. It's probably been a while. Just yeah, kind of getting to a point. Just want to make sure I'm on the right path. Knew that kind of had a good product, and I was looking to learn some more about it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, effectively, I mean, what we typically do is help you connect with some financial advisors and really see whether that's sort of a route that you want to explore and take further and actually move forwards with some of them. So we typically suggest 3 to 4 advisors that are going to make good initial conversations. All of those first conversations are completely free and really just an opportunity for you to explore what's out there and see whether or not you can see yourself working with any of these people. We typically suggest meeting with 3 to 4, especially if you haven't worked with a financial advisor before, which I'm assuming may be the case here, but don't let me put words in your mouth. Okay, no worries. And so you mentioned you've spoken a couple of times with your parents' financial advisor. Any particular reason that wasn't something you wanted to pursue? Sure, okay. Yeah, not a problem at all. Well, I mean, that is very much our demographic. Like, I mean, people, it sounds like exactly like yourself, those that are, we like to kind of wrap it up as like those that are reaching their DIY expiration date. So typically you're doing well in one way or the other, but something's going on or something's happening. You're reaching a point where you're like, I could probably do with a second opinion on this, or a professional in my corner that can kind of take this load off me and make sure that I'm doing the right stuff. Happy to dive into it, and we can get you connected with a few advisors. We'll go through the verification process. So every person coming through the Habits platform, whether it is you're looking for financial advisors, you're an advisor yourself, whatever it might be, gets verified through Plaid. I'm not sure whether you are familiar with Plaid, but they are used in a lot of sort of financial applications. We'll then go through and kind of share your financial situation. So things like your high-level income, assets, debts, and kind of the categories, the areas you're looking for help with, and what you're hoping to get out of working with a financial advisor. And from there, we'll then be able to see all the advisors that it makes sense for you to have an initial conversation with. We can go through, we can take a look at some of the profiles and book time with any that stand out for you. Does that all sound good? Any questions so far?
Yeah, no, sounds fantastic.
Well, okay, so in the App Store, if you just want to search for Habits-Finance, and it should come up. We're going to be the one with the tree icon. And I guess while that's then downloading, do you maybe want to share some high levels of, like, I mean... Fantastic. Sounds like you're in a pretty great spot. And so then, and we'll go through this when going through the application as well, but for you, you mentioned kind of that second opinion on your investments and things like that. Is that really it for what you are kind of coming through this process for? Or what kind of goals are you trying to work towards in the next maybe 1, 5, 10 years? Yeah, beautiful. Okay, I mean, to be honest, it sounds like you very much fit exactly who we typically see coming through the platform and finding the most value then. So effectively looking for that holistic financial strategy, an overview on investments, on taxes, and helping plan towards goals for maybe the next 5 to 10 years. That sound right to you? And then you should be prompted with a few kind of preference questions in terms of sort of ways you'd like to engage with your financial advisor. So did you have any sort of specific questions or things like fee structures or expertise that you are sort of wanting an advisor to have? And we can kind of talk through the ones that are showing up and where it may make sense.
No, I see a lot of them are kind of laid out here.
It sounds like you're not necessarily dealing with really complex kind of equity compensation and things like that, where they're going to need to spend a load of extra time than they would compared to like the average, if that makes sense. Does that sound right?
Absolutely true.
Perfect. Okay, so like that will kind of factor into prices, which is why we don't show it on their profile. I think the other aspect to it is it makes a lot more sense for you to have the conversation with them and hear why they charge certain things. So, I mean, for example, let's say, and I'm throwing numbers out here, just easy numbers to make it make sense, but let's say you saw an advisor where that advisor put $250 a month, you saw one advisor say, I charge $10,000 for the year. Upon seeing that might be a little bit daunting and like, oh, I don't know if I really want to go and just spend 10 grand. Like that's quite a lot. However, if you had the conversation and they could clearly outline, okay, well, to be honest, I'm going to save you $9,000 in taxes in this first year, regardless of what we do with your investments. That 10,000 then becomes a lot more digestible. And so that's kind of where we would encourage them to, or encourage you to have the conversations and discuss what they would actually charge you, because that will vary. So if you click into their profiles, there should be a little calendar link button, and you can book time directly when it works for you.
All right, cool. We got 3 books. It should be good for now.
Beautiful. Okay, fantastic. I think they'll all be really good introduction calls, or at least I hope that's the case. Yeah, you use those calls as an opportunity to ask any questions you've got. Like if you are curious about anything in terms of, let's say they say, oh, well, it's going to cost this, and you're like, well, why? What's the value for that? This is your opportunity to share or to gather as much information as possible to understand and everything you need to understand in order to make that decision about whether or not to move forwards. Because like I said, all of these are completely free. You can have as many of these introduction calls as you'd like. Let us know how they go, but yeah, you should be good to go.
Will do. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Cheers. All right, speak soon.
Right,
Bye. Bosh. That's what we do. This is what we do.